Chad Moyer with you here on the Rural Radio Network. It is time for our Fridays in the Field segment. It's brought to you by FNBO, the Great Big Small Bank. And we trekked out of Nebraska into Iowa for this week's Fridays in the Field, and we're visiting with Galen Smith. He is from in Shelby County, just outside of Portsmouth, Iowa. Galen, thanks for visiting with us here today. First of all, before we talk about the season so far, tell me a little bit about your operation here. Would imagine multi-generational. Tell me a little bit about the history here.
Yes, this here where I live is a 200-acre farm, which belonged to my wife's folks, and it was a century farm in 1982. So we've been here for a while.
Yeah, no doubt. And of course, who's multi-generations involved in the farm now, right?
Yes. My son, he's farming and with me, and so we work together at it.
Mm-hmm.
So
all right. Well, the reason I picked you for a Fridays in the Field segment is we actually met earlier this year. The KTIC brought a spring break out to you in your operation. That was on May 28th. And I happened to notice that you didn't have a whole lot of planting done at that point. I think on that date, you maybe had one field planted. Tell me about the spring. Apparently it was a difficult spring, huh?
Yeah, it was. We had, it was dry early, and we were trying to get a lot of things done before we started planting, and then all at once it started raining, and then it didn't want to stop raining. So got us a little late planting, but we got started there late in May planting corn, and then got the beans done the first half of June. So anyway, the crop's looking pretty good now. So
yeah, we'll talk about that in a moment. But like I say, right at Memorial Day there, one field planted. Once things got fit, how long did it take you to finish planting corn and beans?
Didn't take that long, about 2 to 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm. And everything was in. So
Yep.
What has happened since then now? Obviously a very late start for the corn and soybeans. Have they made up some time? What's the condition here as we get into the month of August?
Well, they're coming along good. We've had quite a few heat units here lately, so they're coming along good. Our soybeans are just starting to get pods on them, so.
All right, now how about the corn? Has everything pollinated? Are we starting to fill out that ear now?
It just, I'm not sure how much you can tell on the ears yet, as it just tasseled last week, so.
Okay, so we're just getting through pollination now, huh?
Right.
Yep. All right. How about the conditions? Have you had to deal with any bugs or diseases or anything like that with this late season, late planted corn and beans?
No, we haven't. There isn't much out there in the cornfields. One guy said he thought there might be a little bit of southern rust, but it was, nothing serious.
All right. So, and we happen to be standing in a soybean field. I see there's a few Japanese beetles, but not enough to warrant any action yet, huh?
I don't think so. Yeah, there's some beetles out here, but hopefully they don't get bad enough if we have to spray for them. But
sure. Tell me, what is a typical year farming here in western Iowa? What's the soil type like? I know there's a lot of terraces in this part of the world too, right?
Yes. Yep. We got a lot of terraces. Try to keep the soil up on the side hills where it needs to be. So
yeah. What is a typical yield here for corn and soybeans?
Well, the corn is depending on how much rain we get, is pretty much from 200 to 300 bushel an acre. So
and beans?
That's dry land, or no irrigation around here. And the soybeans are, oh golly, I don't know, probably 60 to 70 bushel.
Continuing our conversation here in Portsmouth, Iowa, and son David Smith joins us this time around. Let's talk a little bit about some of the things that have happened here this summer in and around Portsmouth. Sounds like you were pretty close to some heavy weather earlier this summer. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, Just there was a tornado out of Minden. It come up from south of there, and it
April
stretched.
26th.
Yeah, April 26th. So that's the day before my birthday. So I shouldn't forget that. And
Happy birthday, right?
yeah. And so instead of, I kind of just put stuff on hold because we couldn't get in the field anyway. So then I ended up doing a lot of tornado cleanup for some people. I had some close friends that got pretty heavy damage. And so I was actually over there today doing some more cleanup, finish work and stuff for them, some dirt work and things. And yeah, just a lot of devastation. So all the people that were planted, most of it wasn't even out of the ground yet, if it was planted. But so they had a lot of fields with debris all over, and so then that was kind of a toss-up. Do you go out and clean it up because you're going to damage what's already planted, and things like that. So a lot of handwork, I think, was done there, just because you couldn't take machinery out there for fear of wrecking the crops. So.
Sure, absolutely. And you said it was kind of interesting, like you said, watching where the debris all landed. Interesting story from this part of the world with one of your neighbors, huh?
Yeah, we had a couple down the road there, just not far out of Harlan. Their wedding picture ended up clear up in northeastern Iowa. So they said what it was, 240 some miles away or something. And the picture was pretty well intact because they put it on Facebook and people knew who it was right away.
Yeah.
So, and they're not young people anymore. So, it was nice to see the people were recognized them, knew who they were, and got that picture back to them. And so then now their son is my neighbor. So he moved into my aunt's house.
Sure.
For the time being until they can get their place fixed up or rebuilt, whatever they're going to do with that.
Sure. All right. So back to the farming operation, if we can, for a second, David. Made mention that there was a lot of moisture, a lot of rain that fell in this part of the world. Did that tear up a lot of things? Were there some maintenance that had to be done before spring field work?
Yeah, we had a lot of terraces that got blown out. We actually went out to plant and went over a hill, and Dad comes back. He says, "We got to get a cat back out here." He said, and we just had the cat out there. So I had the wife out there with the pickup full of seed, and I come out with the tractor and planter, just turned around and come back home with it. So we had to get a cat back out there. So we come here and started planting here first then, and just worked our way the other way, So I thought, well, we got to get seed in the ground. So while they're doing dirt work, we'll be doing our own dirt work, I guess.
Sure. So, all right. So as we stand here at the beginning of August, what do you think of the progress on the crops, considering how late that you guys got started? The way things look now, what is your opinion?
They look good. I'm no professional, so it's probably too early to tell how good the yields are going to actually be, but they look decent. I think they've made up some ground. They seem to have caught up somewhat, and the corn stands looking pretty decent, so I really can't have any complaints for as late as it was. I mean, it kind of is what, you got to deal with what you're dealt with, so
Sure,
that's just how it works.
Yeah. What about from here on out through the rest of the season? Are you do you have to do anything else to this crop? Are you looking at a fungicide application or something else?
Yeah, we'll converse with our seed dealer and kind of get what their input is on that. We kind of trust their opinion a lot. They grow seed too, they farm too and whatnot, so they've never really steered us wrong, so we kind of value their opinion pretty good. I guess if it's bad, they know we won't be back to get more seed, so
something like that. Anyway. Yeah. But it is kind of amazing how a crop can come back out of that given the right conditions. I didn't ask you about the moisture situation. Like your dad said, no irrigation in this part of the world. How is the moisture situation?
Well, we should be pretty good. I mean, we've gotten plenty of rain, and it was pretty timely because just as soon as it dried up, it rained again, so which made it hard to plant. So
yeah,
but
probably need a couple of rains yet to finish off the crop.
We can't remain dry. I mean, that would hurt us pretty bad. So we'll still need moisture, and I would think it would get it, but you never know. That Mother Nature's pretty hard to read sometimes.
No doubt about that.
It's kind of like the markets.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's a whole different subject, right? Yeah. David, thanks for visiting with us. Again, thanks to David and Galen Smith from Portsmouth, Iowa, here in Shelby County. Our guests on this week's Fridays in the Field segment, it's brought to you by FNBO, the Great Big Small Bank. Here on the Rural Radio Network, Chad Moyer reporting.